program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
In the headlines, U.S. President Donald Trump has escalated trade tensions with Canada, criticizing its officials and renewing threats of heavy tariffs on Canadian auto imports. Security forces from South America and the United States have dealt major blows to transnational crime, arresting top leaders of Venezuela's Tren de Aragua and Ecuadorian narco cartels. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has urged far-right leaders Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich to run on a joint list, warning a split could cost the bloc the election. Protesters gathered in central Kyiv following the sacking of former Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov, demanding anti-corruption reforms and democratic elections. And Senate President Win Gatchalian expressed optimism that Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial will end before Christmas, as lawmakers consider afternoon sessions to make way for budget hearings. I'm Andrea Santos. Newsline World starts now. First in our news, security forces across South America and the United States have dealt major blows to transnational crime in coordinated operations, netting top ringleaders from Venezuela's Tren de Aragua syndicate and Ecuador's leading narco cartels. Berher Palba has the details.
In Colombia, heavily armed police units cordoned off streets in Bogota's Fontibon district to capture Luis Saul Perez Nieto, a top regional coordinator for the Tren de Aragua criminal organization wanted across South America and the U.S. for contract killings and drug trafficking. Simultaneously, U.S. and Ecuadorian special forces executed sweeping joint raids targeting the Los Choneros and Los Lobos cartels in Ecuador, arresting 26 operatives, seizing a metric ton of cocaine, and destroying 3 clandestine airstrips.
Anunció el señor presidente de la República, doctor Abelardo de la Espriella, en el día de hoy se dio un golpe contundente contra la criminalidad. En una operación coordinada con las autoridades americanas, con la DEA, con la Fiscalía General de la Nación y también con las autoridades de investigación criminal de Perú.
Addressing the joint campaign from Puerto Rico, U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche emphasized that international task forces will continue aggressively targeting narco-terrorist networks supplying North American markets. U.S. officials also confirmed the successful extradition of Dominican drug kingpin Eric Randall Maceo Polanco from Colombia to face federal drug trafficking charges in Puerto Rico and New Jersey.
Yesterday's operation resulted in 26 arrests, including 4 leaders of the Los Lobos cartel and 2 Mexican nationals who were members of CJ&G. 1 metric ton of cocaine was seized yesterday, as well as around $1 million in U.S. currency, 35 rifles, 26 vehicles, over 40 cell phones, an airplane, and due to the efforts yesterday morning, 3 clandestine airports and landing strips were destroyed. This operation reflects the strength of our partnership in Ecuador and across the entire Western Hemisphere.
Regional law enforcement agencies maintain that sustained joint intelligence sharing will continue across South American borders to dismantle transnational cartel infrastructure and secure international trade routes. This has been Verhil Parba, your Global Citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
U.S. President Donald Trump has escalated trade tensions with Canada, criticizing Canadian officials as nasty people and reiterating threats to impose heavy tariffs on Canadian automobile imports. More on this from Kai Villan.
U.S. President Donald Trump launched a sharp critique against Canadian trade practices, accusing Ottawa of exploiting U.S. defense guarantees and maintaining unfair tariff structures against American agricultural exporters. Trump singled out Canada's dairy protections while defending his administration's proposed high-level tariffs on Canadian manufactured vehicles, asserting that manufacturing operations must relocate to American soil.
The Canadian officials have treated us very badly. They're nasty people. They charge our farmers 400% tariffs. They've been doing it for a long time. And I had them figured out in my first term, and I did some pretty strong things and had it getting pretty good. And then the election was rigged, and now I'm coming back and doing it the way it and finishing the job.
Addressing questions regarding a promotional video in which he symbolically renamed Lake Ontario to Lake America, Trump dismissed concerns over escalating friction with a key Western ally, claiming Canada generates multi-billion-dollar trade deficits for the United States annually. The rhetorical push comes as cross-border trade negotiations remain stalled, sparking economic concerns over potential price increases and supply chain disruptions ahead of upcoming midterm elections.
We're losing, when you talk about affordability, we're losing $62 billion a year on average with Canada. And if you really look at it, we're losing more than that. It's too much. It's too much. We can't lose that. We don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose it anymore.
Canadian government representatives and trade ministers continue to evaluate retaliatory measures, emphasizing that cross-border economic integration and security partnerships remain vital to both nations' economic stability. Reporting for Newsline World, Kai Villan, SMNI News.
Work in government offices and classes at all levels in public and private schools in the National Capital Region and 16 provinces were suspended starting 1 p.m. Friday, August 28th, due to the expected further strengthening of the southwest monsoon or habagat. The habagat was expected to intensify due to a low-pressure area that had entered the Philippine Area of Responsibility under Memorandum Circular Number 132, issued by Executive Secretary Ralph G. Recto upon the recommendation of the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. The suspension covered the following areas: National Capital Region Abra, Benguet, Ilocos Sur, La Union, Pangasinan, Bataan, Bulacan, Nueva Ecija, Pampanga, Tarlac, Zambales, Batangas, Cavite, Rizal, Oriental Mindoro, and Occidental Mindoro. Government agencies providing basic and health services, disaster preparedness and response, and other vital services continued to operate. Local chief executives were also authorized to suspend classes and or work in government offices in their respective areas, depending on local conditions. For the private sectors, the suspension of work or implementation of alternative work arrangements was left to the discretion of management. Meanwhile, the death toll from the catastrophic Bodhikoshi flash flood in Nepal has surpassed 308 as rescue teams comb 8 devastated districts, 400 still missing. Prince Tripoli reports.
Thick mud and rivers lodged, smothered streets and swallowed lower floors of homes across Nuwakot district as search teams, security forces and local volunteers searched through flood-wrecked riverbank settlements. Sweeping down from the Tibetan border into the Trishuli and Narayani river corridors, the surge of water and debris carried victims over 150 kilometers downstream. Disaster management authorities confirmed recovery operations across 8 districts, with Chitwan reporting the highest casualties, while over 900 residents, security personnel and foreign tourists remain unaccounted for. According to officials, the death toll has risen to at least 389, with hundreds still missing. Initial scientific analysis and satellite imagery indicate that the disaster was unleashed when a massive high-altitude ice and rock avalanche crashed into the upstream Linder River, creating a temporary debris dam that abruptly burst. Heavy equipment, military helicopters, and specialized emergency response units continue clearing blocked roadways and deploying rescue equipment along devastated valleys as international consular offices and tracking missing foreign nationals. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, SMNI News.
The Senate Impeachment Court warned it will fine anyone violating Rule 18 or the sub judice rule regarding improper. The National Food Authority is set to auction approximately 37,000 metric tons of aging but good quality milled rice ahead of the wet harvest season. President Catarong reports.
The National Food Authority will auction around 37,000 metric tons of aging but good quality milled rice to prepare for the upcoming wet season harvest. During a public briefing, NFA Administrator Larry Lacson stated that the primary goal of the auction is to release stocks before they become unfit for human consumption as mandated by law. The move also aims to clear NFA warehouses to accommodate incoming palay harvests.
We have to auction off before they become unfit for human consumption. Ang second objective nito is, of course, mapaluwag yung ating mga bodega in preparation for the next season of harvest. No?
The stocks lined up for auction carry an estimated total value of 1.18 billion pesos. However, only around 65 million pesos worth was successfully bid out during the initial round. Lacson said a second auction will be held. If any lots remain unsold after 2 attempts, this may undergo a negotiated auction to ensure all remaining stocks are disposed of. Disposing of the 37,000 metric tons will significantly assist the NFA's preparations for the harvest season. It represents roughly 6.8% of the additional warehouse space needed to meet their minimum procurement target of 500,000 metric tons of palay.
So mahalaga yan dahil malaki ang pangangailangan natin for warehouse space. In fact, we are still looking for more warehouse spaces for lease at yung mga ibang warehouse na mahihiram sa local government unit.
Lacson warned that failing to sell the stocks immediately could cause the market value of the NFA's aging rice inventory to depreciate further. He explained that as rice stays in storage longer, its market value drops due to aging. Nevertheless, Lacson assured that the NFA strictly monitors stock quality to avoid wastage and ensure the rice remains safe for public consumption. The agency conducts regular monthly testing to verify that all stored rice remains fit for human consumption. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Keseling Catarong, SMNI News.
The Office of the Vice President honored 40 war veterans in Davao City as part of the upcoming National Heroes Day commemoration. Vice President Sara Duterte led the program Saludo, Mga Kwentong Tapang at Paglilingkod, held to recognize the courage, sacrifice, and selfless service of war veterans to the nation. The OVP emphasized the critical role of veterans in defending the country and safeguarding the Filipino people during times of war. The event was also attended by OVP Chief of Staff Attorney Zulieka Lopez, Director for Operations Norman Baloro, and Southern Mindanao Satellite Office Lead Jean Rose Texon. According to the OVP, the Saludo initiatives aims to preserve the experiences and sacrifices of veterans as a lasting part of the nation's history. Up next, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has urged far-right leaders Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich to run on a joint list, warning a split could cost the bloc the election. Protesters gathered in central Kyiv following the sacking of former Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov, demanding anti-corruption reforms and democratic elections. More news when Newsline World returns. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has urged far-right leaders Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich to run on a joint electoral list, warning that divisions on the right could cost the bloc victory in upcoming elections. Prince Tripoli for the details.
Speaking to reporters in Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich to set aside personal grievances and unite their parties ahead of the October general election. Citing the 1992 election as a historical warning, Netanyahu emphasized that a fragmented right-wing vote risks dropping smaller parties below Israel's 3.25% electoral threshold, potentially handing victory to the opposition.
הם חייבים להתאחד. כל פעם שהלכנו מחוברים, ניצחנו. כשהלכנו מפורדים, הפסדנו. ב-92 היה לימין, כמו היום, יותר קולות מאשר לשמאל, אבל כיוון שהיו 3 מפלגות, לא עברנו את אחוז החסימה, הפסדנו לשמאל, קיבלנו את אסון אוסלו, את ערפאת כאן, את החמאס כאן, וכל השאר זה אסונות מתמשכים. ולכן זה יכול לקרות גם הפעם. כל פעם שהלכנו ביחד, ניצחנו. כל פעם שהלכנו בנפרד, הפסדנו. אני מבין שיש ביניהם משקעים אישיים, צריך להתגבר על זה, אני אזמין אותם בימים הקרובים, אנחנו נעשה מאמץ עליון להתאחד, וזה מה שהציבור מצפה מהם, ובצדק.
However, Otzma Yehudit leader Itamar Ben-Gvir rejected Netanyahu's plea, accusing the Prime Minister of attempting to weaken his faction in order to form a broader coalition with opposition figures after the vote. Ben-Gvir instead advocated for a separate far-right alliance combining his party, Smotrich Religious Zionist Party, and the newly established Amcha Israel list founded by Reserve Brigadier General Ofer Winter.
ראש הממשלה היקר, שנינו יודעים את האמת. אתה רוצה את עוצמה יהודית קטנה כדי שתוכל ללכת עם אייזנקוט, כדי שתוכל להקים ממשלה לאומית רחבה. רק עוצמה יהודית גדולה וסמוטריץ' ווינטר שילכו ביחד, רק בצורה הזאת אפשר להקים ממשלה ימנית מלא מלא.
Political analysts note that with multiple nationalist lists competing for the same right-wing electorate, coalition dynamics remain uncertain as party leaders finalize their slates ahead of the October deadline. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Prince Tripoli, SMNI News.
In central Kyiv to protest against President Volodymyr Zelensky's government following the dismissal of former Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov, demanding swift anti-corruption reforms and elections. Verhil Parba has the details.
Protesters gathered near the Ivan Franko National Academic Drama Theater in central Kiev to voice growing dissatisfaction over government corruption and political centralization. The demonstrations were triggered by the dismissal of former Defense Minister Mikhailo Fedorov, who publicly accused the administration of corruption and demanded democratic elections, which currently remain suspended under nationwide martial law.
Я б дуже хотіла, щоб наша влада вже нарешті стала прислуховуватись до наших громадян і почала вже боротися з корупцією.
Fedorov rejected an offer to serve as Deputy Prime Minister for Military Innovation following his removal, as former senior intelligence officer Yevgeny Kamara assumed leadership of the Defense Ministry. The political friction coincides with ongoing anti-corruption investigations into alleged money laundering schemes involving officials within the presidential administration, fueling public calls for stronger institutional checks and balances.
Це насправді великий прорахунок влади в моєму розумінні. Бо влада сама вносить розкол в суспільство в такий час, коли розколювати взагалі не можна.
Civil society groups and local organizers continue to urge the government to reinforce democratic institutions and address internal corruption risks while maintaining national stability during the ongoing war. This has been Verhil Parba, your global citizen correspondent, reporting for Newsline World.
Marikina 1st District Representative Marcy Teodoro remains innocent under the law despite criminal charges filed against him. The Department of Justice clarified. The DOJ emphasized that the courts will decide the merits of the cases, while Teodoro's legal team questioned the procedural integrity of the resolution's issuance. Aaron Rojas has the story.
Following the filing of charges against Congressman Marcy Chodoro in Marikina City Courts, the Department of Justice clarified that the indictment does not establish legal guilt. Chodoro faces 4 counts of sexual assault filed by the DOJ before the Marikina Regional Trial Court, along with acts of lasciviousness charge filed before the Metropolitan Trial Court. The Department of Justice stated that the complaints underwent standard prosecutorial evaluation before being submitted to the courts.
These cases have already been filed with the appropriate court of Marikina City, but we just want to stress that he's still entitled to presumption of innocence.
The DOJ explained that the prosecutorial evaluation has concluded, transferring jurisdiction over the matter to the judiciary. Subsequent procedural steps now lie with the court under the rules of court.
And it just means that the prosecutorial action, the prosecutorial evaluation has been done, and it is now up to the court to proceed as a matter of course based on the rules of court.
However, Chodoro's legal team questioned the procedure surrounding the release of the resolution. His legal counsel, attorney Alma Malyonga, asserted that the complaints against her client lacked factual basis. Malyonga further questioned why the investigating panel that concluded the preliminary investigation did not prepare or sign the final resolution. Chodoro's counsel noted that the hearings and preliminary investigations concluded several months ago. Consequently, the defense expressed surprise over a resolution drafted and signed by an entirely different state prosecutor. Meanwhile, several Marikina residents voiced support for the lawmaker. In a statement of support, the Samahan ng mga Angkan sa Marikina, representing 50 local clans, an estimated 10,000 individuals, expressed dismay over the repeated allegations against Chodoro. The group characterized the charges against the lawmaker as baseless. Further legal proceedings now rest with the trial courts. While the DOJ maintains the congressman's presumption of innocence, Chodoro's defense continues to challenge the procedural validity behind the issuance of the resolution. Reporting for Newsline World, Aaron Rojas, SMNI News.
In other news, the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas detailed the main factors behind the Philippines' slowing economic growth. Sheena Torna reports.
During Senate deliberations on the proposed 2027 National Expenditure Program, Senator Camille Villar questioned the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP regarding the dip in the country's gross domestic product or GDP. The senator sought to clarify the actual state of the economy and how it impacts the daily livelihoods of Filipinos. The BSP explained the latest economic figures and the root cause behind the drop.
So GDP growth did fall to 2.3% in the second quarter of 2026.
What were the reasons behind the drop in GDP growth? And what are the factors that you foresee that will enable us or that will enable it to increase in the next 2 quarters?
I think the main factor is obviously the collapse in government investment. But this is in an effort to discipline government spending, which is understandable. And the government, I know, is making strenuous efforts to accelerate investments.
Various business sectors previously highlighted that investor hesitation stems primarily from corruption issues, specifically citing anomalous flood control projects. Data from the Philippine Statistics Authority shows the Philippine economy expanded by just 2.3% in the second quarter of 2026, down from the 2.8% GDP growth recorded in the first quarter of 2026. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Meanwhile, Senator Robin Padilla expressed full support for Presiding Officer Cheese Escudero's enforcement of the sub judice rule in the ongoing impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. However, the senator stressed that it would have been better if the Senate President explicitly named those who violated the order. Sheena Torno for the details.
Senator Robin Padilla backed the decision of Senate President and Presiding Officer Cheese Escudero to strictly enforce the sub judice rule in Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial. According to Senator Padilla, the move is proper to safeguard the integrity of the Senate Impeachment Court.
Tama yun. Kasi talaga namang practice yan. Sana lang sumunod yung mga nasa prosecution at yung mga nasa defense. Kasi ako napakaingat ko. Napakaingat ko at yung mga kasama ko sa ibang judges din.
Padilla added that Escudero has been fair to both the prosecution and defense as presiding officer. However, he noted it would have been better had the Senate President publicly identified the individuals who breached the said rule.
Mas maganda kung napangalanan niya. O sana napangalanan kung sino yung mga sa senador, tsaka sa prosecution, tsaka doon sa defense, na naglumalabag. Kasi kinausap ko bigla yung sarili ko, may nilabag na ba ako?
Padilla jokingly remarked that his wife could easily pay the 30,000 pesos fine, but noted that referral to the Ethics Committee would be a more serious matter. He also clarified that senator judges remain impartial, despite conflicting claims presented by the defense and prosecution.
Hindi naman siguro. Para sa akin, trabaho lang ng senador hanapin ang... Kasi iba't iba ang katotohanan eh. May katotohanan ang defense, may katotohanan ang prosecution. Kaya kami, mga senador, dapat halamin namin yung totoo, yung realidad. Kasi may realidad eh. Kung ano talaga yung nangyari. Hindi nauukol sa naratibo.
Escudero's enforcement of the sub judice rule stemmed from ongoing trial by publicity and public commentaries on social media by both sides during the trial. This followed a manifestation filed by defense lead counsel Attorney Sheila Season against private prosecutor Attorney Amando Virgil Ligutan. The issue arose after Ligutan posted on Facebook regarding the legality of misleading questions during cross-examination, which drew a reprimand from Escudero. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Up next, Senate President Win Gatchalian expressed optimism that Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial will end before Christmas, as lawmakers consider afternoon sessions to make way for budget hearings. Newsline World will return after the break.
Excuse me, attorney. Mr. Zeldarriaga is already here.
Okay, hold on.
Children will grow up and bring the joy, the love, the peace, and compassion to the whole world. We only have one planet. We only have one Earth. And I hope that this new generation of children that we have reached out will become millions and billions and bring peace on Earth. Bring peace to humanity.
In 2005, Pastor Apollo C. Kibuloy founded the Sunshine Philippines movement. A mission rooted in love for nature and nation. It began as an environmental and humanitarian initiative to reforest Mount Apo. Once barren, now a thriving and beautiful place. Through his initiative, thousands of trees have been planted across the Philippines, bringing life and hope to communities. His advocacy, One Tree, One Nation, is also a movement that calls for unity in preserving the environment. Because every tree planted is a step towards unity, healing, and a greater future. Join One Tree, One Nation.
Ikaw ba ay namomroblema sa taas ng electric bill buwan-buwan? Huwag mag-alala, narito ang ilang paraan upang makatipid sa kuryente. Patayin ang mga ilaw at appliances kapag hindi ginagamit. Sa halip ay gumamit ng natural na liwanag upang makatipid sa kuryente. Tanggalin sa saksakan ang mga appliances kung hindi ginagamit. Iwasan ang paggamit ng maraming appliances ng sabay-sabay. Gumamit ng LED bulbs. Ito ay mas tipid sa kuryente kumpara sa mga incandescent at fluorescent bulbs. Regular na linisin ang mga appliances tulad ng electric fan, aircon vents at refrigerator. Magkaroon ng tagdang araw sa isang linggo sa pamamalansya at paglalaba. Gumamit ng energy-efficient appliances. Tandaan, maging wais sa paggamit ng kuryente upang makatipid para mas gumaan ang buhay. Ang paalalang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng SMNI.
And we're back. Senate President Win Gatchalian expressed optimism that Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial will wrap up before Christmas as the Senate considers moving trial sessions to the afternoon to accommodate budget hearings. Sheena Torno for the details.
The Philippine Senate is considering shifting the schedule of Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial to the afternoon. This adjustment aims to prevent delays in scheduled legislative and national budget hearings. Senate President Win Gatchalian stated that the chamber aims to conclude the trial before Christmas.
Kasi ang pinipilit namin talagang matapos ngayon, as much as possible, one witness, one day. As much as possible. Pero makita naman natin na mahirap. Para lang maging on track kami. Ang komplikasyon ito itong budget. So we're also going to adjust yung legislative time namin.
Gatchalian added that to expedite budget deliberations, the Committee on Finance will be allowed to hold hearings concurrently with plenary sessions after suspending existing rules. Meanwhile, Setter judges expressed support for presiding officer Cheese Escudero's ruling regarding the strict enforcement of the sub judice rule, pledging caution when issuing public comments on the merits of the case. Gatchalian also disapproved of the language used by the prosecution panel during witness examinations, particularly regarding descriptions directed at Vice President Sara Duterte.
Ako personally, feel ko na inappropriate yun at hindi tama. Dahil kahit na-strike off the record, wala nang visa yun. Mayroon na tayong YouTube na pwede mong i-replay. Ang taong bayan naman, din naman nila na-appreciate yung strike off the records. Kahit na naka-strike off the records, but when you rewind it in YouTube, makikita mo rin. And it affects the mentality of the senator judges. It also affects the mentality of the public. Kami being political figure, kung ang publiko ay affected the wrong way, ma-affect rin kami. So, kaya dapat maging maingat talaga yung prosecution in this.
Separately, Gatchalian provided updates on detained and absent senators, including Senator Loren Legarda, whose medical leave was extended due to a serious medical condition.
It's a very personal issue.
But you are made aware
Alam
of it
ko,
already?
alam ko yung kanyang sakit. Even prior to this, we're personal friends as well. So, nasabi niya yun na meron siyang sakit na seryoso.
4 senators are currently not receiving their salaries, including Senators Rodante Marcoleta and Jinggoy Estrada, who are detained at the new Quezon City Jail dormitory in Payatas. This also includes Senator Bato de la Rosa, who has not attended Senate sessions following an ICC warrant, and Senator Loren Legarda, who is undergoing medical treatment.
Nung nag-leave, file siya ng medical leave, hindi niya na tinanggap yung sweldo. So, we have instructed the accounting department and payroll department na i-suspend yung pagbibigay ng kanyang sweldo.
Saan na pupunta po yung pag hindi po rin
well, pupunta yan sa hindi nagagastos. So, at the end, the Senate can declare savings and use it for something else.
For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
A Russian-flagged fishing vessel lost stability and partially sank while docked at the port of Montevideo in Uruguay. All 41 crew members were safely evacuated after. Carlo de la Peña has the details.
Emergency response teams and Coast Guard personnel deployed to Quay 7 at the port of Montevideo after the 15-meter Russian fishing vessel Alpha Crux listed heavily and partially submerged alongside the dock. Authorities reported that the loss of stability occurred during an internal fuel transfer between storage tanks, prompting an immediate evacuation of all 41 crew members on board, with no injuries reported. Specialized environmental response contractors immediately deployed floating containment booms around the vessel to contain potential spills, utilizing extraction pumps to clear oily liquids from the surrounding water surface. While the National Ports Administration has not confirmed whether the surface sheen is fuel or bilge water, tugboats and salvage teams continue working with the vessel's owner to assess options for stabilizing and refloating the ship. Maritime authorities and naval prefects have initiated an official investigation into the cause of the stability loss while salvage operations proceed at the berth. Reporting for Newsline World, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
Pop superstar Taylor Swift is navigating life as a newlywed and pouring her energy straight back into her craft over a month after tying the knot with NFL star Travis Kelce. Meanwhile, legendary voice actor Peter Cullen, best known as the iconic voice of Optimus Prime in Transformers and Eeyore in Disney's Winnie the Pooh franchise, has passed away at the age of 85. His family remembers his remarkable legacy and message of compassion. Daniela Paulite has the details.
With the Kansas City Chiefs for his 14th NFL season, fans have been wondering about Taylor Swift's next move. According to a report by Page 6, an insider revealed that the newlywed couple is tackling their demanding schedules head-on, with Swift throwing herself completely into writing new music. The source shared that songwriting has been her main focus, noting she is incredibly inspired creatively and really excited about what is taking shape. This comes shortly after Swift sat down with Recording Academy CEO Harvey Mason Jr. for the Grammys Museum Icon Sessions for a lengthy interview and performance, marking her first public appearance since getting married. During the session, Swift showed off her new ring stock featuring her gold wedding band alongside her massive 10-carat Kindred Lubick Old Mine diamond engagement ring. Legendary voice actor Peter Cullen passed away peacefully on Wednesday at his home in Los Angeles, surrounded by his family according to an official statement. His family shared that he was held in the hearts of his many friends and countless fans worldwide, asking everyone to honor his remarkable legacy by serving their communities and leading others with compassion, integrity, and loyalty, reminding fans to always be strong enough to be gentle. Cullen began his most famous role as the heroic, deep-voiced Autobot leader Optimus Prime for the Transformers TV series in 1984, before returning for 7 Hollywood feature films from 2007 to 2023 and numerous spin-offs. He also voiced the depressive Donkey Eeyore in the animated TV series The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh starting in the late 1980s, alongside several related shows, films, and games. Cullen was nominated for a Daytime Emmy for voicing Optimus Prime in 2011. He also received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Children's and Family Emmy Awards in 2023. And that's all for now. This is Daniela Paulita bringing you the latest showbuzz.
And good news for Alex Ayala fans. Fresh off a career-defining season on the world stage, Ayala is coming home. Fans are in for a blockbuster treat as the WTA champion headlines a massive spectacle here in the Philippines. The Philippine tennis history will take center stage on December 8th, 2026 as Alex Ayala returns home for a star-studded exhibition event at the Philippine Arena in Bulacan, titled Alex Ayala Live Game Set Celebrate. The grand homecoming hosted by Tatler Philippines promises an up-close look at one of the country's greatest sporting success stories. The main event will feature a thrilling regional showdown as Ayala goes head-to-head against Indonesian star Janice Jen in a marquee match-up. The December homecoming caps off an remarkable historic season for the 21-year-old tennis phenom. Ayala cemented her place among the world's elite after capturing her milestone first WTA 500 title at the Mubadala DC Open in Washington, D.C., while also charging through a deep breakthrough run at Wimbledon. Now, Ayala is set to bring that world-class energy back home to celebrate with Filipinos. And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the sun. What your faith can conceive, you can achieve. And that's all for this edition of Newsline World. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, I'm Andrea Santos. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.